There we go. Hello, Tina. Oh, I gotta make sure. It says my internet connection is unstable. Hope that changes. I'm getting all my stuff set up, making sure that I have. Let's see. All right, is my internet a little bit more stable now? We're gonna walk around until my internet is stable.
I think you're good.
All right, there we go. All right, well, it is 10:30. I see we got Frida and Chris on. We are recording. We always make sure to be up. Now is it breaking up? Yep. All right, back to my office then. I know we're recording because I know Terrence really wanted to be on, but he's got his continuing education. So what I do is I always record them so that our agents can go back and watch them and make sure that we're sending referrals back and forth.
Oh,
Where's Alan at?
he'll be joining us in a minute. He always has to make his late.
All right.
Yes, and unfortunately, I did not know our buyer's agent, Sarah, is on vacation.
Oh my God.
So she's on vacation now, or not buyer's agent, she's our listing agent now, Sarah. And Nicole is out showing, so it'll just be Al and I once he joins us.
Well, hey, that is perfectly fine. I see Cassandra's hopping on as well. We'll make sure. So what I do is I record it and then I make sure that I post it afterwards. And I'll even send you the recording and the link so that if you all want to like clip it, use it for any kind of promotions too. But then I just always want to make sure that I share it with our people because even if there's Alan, even if our people miss it, I want to make sure that they can get the information and of course be sending those referrals out. All right, well, it is 10:32. Let's go ahead and get started. Two of my favorite people in the room right now. Alan, Tina, how are y'all doing?
Good morning, doing great. Hope you are.
Doing fantastic. It is good to see y'all again. I wanted to get us started off first with tell us a little bit about who y'all are, how you got into the real estate business, everything about you.
Okay. Well, doing this, I joined Tina in 2005. And we were just operating as a husband and wife to one admin for many years. And then we started gradually, after things really started picking up at COVID, we hired a transaction coordinator, then we hired a buyer listing agent. So we've got two admins and a buyer specialist and a listing specialist. And so her and I just run the day-to-day on the team, and it frees us up to do a lot of traveling. So we're kind of sort of easing into retirement here.
That is exciting. That is exciting. So tell us where you are located, where you do business, and then how we can reach you.
Okay, you're breaking up, but we're located in Cashers, North Carolina, and you can reach us by emailing carolinacone@kw.com or calling at 828-71522. I always give them Alan's number. That's the beauty of being a husband and wife team. It's like, yeah. So, but we cover the Highlands, Cashers, Lake Tahoe, Lake Glenville. Mainly a second home market, and we're finding more and more people. It is still primarily a second home market, second, third, fourth.
Jackson, you must have a bad connection or something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I've been popping around. I was in our training room, it wasn't working. Now I'm in our front. I'm at the front. Now it should be working better.
A little bit, but
I don't know what is going on here. It's like everywhere in this office, my connection's not working. I'm just gonna sit at the front desk. Internet's got to work up here. This seems to be working better.
yeah, I mean, it's sketchy.
Well, that's nothing new. No, I'm kidding. Just teasing.
All right, so that was a little bit about who you are, and what I'll do is I'll just several times during this I'll just ask those same questions because I want to make sure that people know who you are, know how they can reach you, because I know y'all are the team in your area. So if people have referrals, you're going to be the ones that they want to send those out to. Well, tell us a little bit about your business. What are the sources that most of your business comes from? Well, let's go down the road actually. When you first started as husband and wife, where did it mostly come from? And then as the team has evolved, how have those business leads or business sources evolved?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something about this connection, Jackson.
It's
It's
still
just
not
not good.
working. I'm not sure where else I can go. It's not working.
You're glitching.
I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I can find a good spot.
Well, I can fill in while you're doing that, because I know you had asked us before to, kind of prep us with where did our business come from? And I would say, at the beginning, especially, it was from the direct mail campaigns. I went to several trainings, when we first met Keller Williams in 2004. And through one of those, a gentleman mentioned that he had success rate with doing direct mail campaigns to a specific neighborhood, doing it as a neighborhood report card. So reporting on everything that is sold in the past month. And so I picked that idea up and ran it here, and it worked. I would say that was probably our biggest success at first.
Yes, that's still one of our prime lead generation sources, and we look to generate leads passively, so it generates phone calls, not reaching out. We don't SA or OSA or anything like that. We just do basically the aggressive campaigns to not only our farm area, but also most of our second home customers come from like Naples, Southwest Florida, all over Florida actually, in Atlanta. So
Charlotte,
we buy
Raleigh.
in Atlanta, we buy zip codes of high net worth individuals in those areas and kind of target those with direct mail also. And then about 64% of our business comes from our past clients, repeat business from them, as well as referrals from them. We get a lot of business from Keller Williams referrals from other parts of the country. If you search the Highlands Cashers Plateau and you want to refer to an agent here, we're by far and away the highest volume team, and we're kind of the logical choice. So we have a lot of business coming from other Keller Williams agents in other areas.
Yeah, and even though we are kind of stepping back and running the day-to-day operations, we've hired Nicole as a buyer's agent, and she's been an agent for like 30 years. She came from the Naples area and was a commercial real estate broker there, but she also had residential. So she's just hit the ground running since March. So we've been really fortunate.
Yeah.
And I heard you say, and if I can't hear me, I'll just post it in the chat. I heard you say 64%. That tells me you're tracking very intentionally where your leads are coming from. Have you always been doing that?
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta, for every advertising dollar you send out in the world, he better bring back 4 friends with him, or it's not worth doing. So we do track that, and we heavily stay in touch with our sphere and everybody in our database. We've got a database of around 7,000, and we just constantly hit them. And we also have 4 builders that we represent with new construction, and several investor clients that do different projects here. So that's a good part of our business too.
The referrals coming in from other Keller Williams agents, how are y'all intentional about that?
It's basically just receiving. We don't go after them. If an agent, the Keller Williams agent somewhere else has someone that's looking for property in the mountains, like I said, we're an easy find, and it works both ways too. We have one of our sellers that we've got their house on the market now. They're moving back to Central Ohio which where they came from. So I hooked him up with a Keller Williams agent there, and he's hooked him up with a brand new house that they're purchasing. So it works both ways, but because we're primarily a second home market, we do rely heavily on that Keller Williams family network.
Yeah. Yeah. How long have y'all had the leverage pieces? I know you talked a little bit about how you've built the team, but what was the first hire? What did they do? And did you always know, like when you started, all right, like we've got to make a hire? Or did you kind of have to break down some barriers of like, all right, we're gonna have to give some things up?
No, I started off in 2000 as a single agent, and by 2003, I think it was, I did one of the things you're not supposed to do. I hired his mother to be my part-time assistant, just to handle some paperwork and stuff. It turned out very good. She was, very dedicated and helped me grow my business. And so then, to the point where she and Alan both decided to get their license. So then we hired another admin full-time this time. And once Alan joined me, he really liked being the buyer's agent for a long time. So it was hard to grow the team because he didn't want to step out of that role. So, but luckily, not luckily, but COVID hit, and then we kind of morphed into what Alan was talking about. We had to hire a transaction coordinator, and then also, what did we hire? A buyer's agent. Yes.
And one of the other things that's been really instrumental in our growth is having a coach. Liz Landry is our coach, and anytime we need direction on what to do, she provides it. It's us, we're going to be eventually selling this team, and she has helped us structure it. So this is going to give us an income for years to come, once this transition takes place. That's not going to be for a couple years now. We're kind of putting all the pieces in place to do that. But, I would say, the direct mail advertising was a big piece. Working a referral network is a big piece. If you can get in with builders and investors and take care of them, they'll take care of you. And just be intentional with hiring. We've done the recruit, train, select, and we've got most of our quality candidates from Indeed. And so we've got really, really top-notch people now. We pay them well, and it's a really good relationship.
Yeah, but I'll add to that because we started coaching in 2014, and it was tough times then. We had been from 08 to 14. It was, luckily I listened to what Gary said about doing listings. And so we went into COVID with like 39 houses listed. So coaching was a huge part of that though. Even though, it was, what do you want to say? Tough times as far as, not making that much money at that point in 2014. We were just coming out of that, but we decided to dedicate that money to a coach. And as much as I didn't want to be told what to do, we hired Liz, or actually we hired somebody else. And don't be afraid if you get a coach and it's not working out to fire him, because we did. And it wasn't that he was a bad coach. He just wasn't the right fit for a husband-wife team. So we got Liz Landry, and she really has propelled us into, it's good because they step back and take a look at your business from the outside. and help you work on that to grow it in the way you want to do it, because everybody's different in the way they do business.
Yeah, and we've gone from doing 18 million a year to 50 million a year. So it's really, and we've had to grow the team as the volume has increased.
18 million to 50 million. What are some of the biggest or can you identify maybe the biggest like light bulbs or the biggest changes that having a coach versus not having a coach, like what leaps did they help you take?
It's hard to put your finger on any one thing, I believe.
I think marketing was our first thing, because she really took a look at what we were doing as a listing presentation. I think that was the biggest piece. And so right in 2014, as soon as we hired her, that was the first thing she did. And I would say that that really helped us, take a look and improve our marketing. And we've since had to go through that again, because we kind of got stuck in a rut from 2014 till we hired Nicole back a couple of years ago, or a year ago, I guess it was. And she's revamped all of our marketing again. So I think it's really, that was a huge key piece to me.
Yeah, it's just, you got to keep improving, look for ways to improve and keep getting better. And, just because something works one year, it might not work the next year. And one of the things that has been very consistent for us is our direct mail campaign. Now, like I said, we're primarily a second home market. So whether that would work in a primary market, I'm not sure. I think it would. But we've got a large area here that we've been farming for the last 20 years. And we just keep it up. And I can't even tell you how many times people have come in the door with our postcards in their hand.
Yeah, you have to be consistent with that. It
Yep.
has to go out monthly. You can't let it, drop off. So you don't want to start something and then just disappear.
Yeah, and then during certain times of the year, we'll also do, just listed, just sold, when we're trying to, like during the spring, when all people are going to be listing. We hit them with extra touches to the farm area during that time to try to generate more listings, when we know that's, believe it or not, still the winter time here, average person perception is they roll up the sidewalks here in the winter, just not a lot happens. But it's becoming more and more of a year-round community, and but still a lot of people wait until spring to list their homes. So that's when we try to really ramp up our direct mail campaigns, is that time of year.
How do you make sure that it stays consistent? Because it sounds like maybe you have a system running, but then there are some that happen that aren't systematized. There are some that you identify times they need to go out, like a just listed or a just sold. How do you make sure that it stays consistent?
Alex, our full-time listing concierge, she keeps honest and makes sure it happens. And that's the other thing I think it's important, is getting together with your team, weekly and talking through what's working, what's not working. And
professional photography is uber important. We've taken away, we don't pay any money to Zillow or Realtor.com or anybody for buyer leads anymore. We do have a fantastic website that we have through Brivity, and it's integrated with our CRM. So a lot of the leads come in that way, and it's very easy. If you search the area, you can find some boutique firms, of course, Zillow and Realtor.com. But when you start looking for individual agents, and they most of the time they don't find our website through searching on Google for a realtor in our area. They usually are on a listing and they click through to the agent's website. And that's where we get them hooked. And we've got a really good IDX feed and a program where instead of going to Zillow or Realtor.com, they can search on our site, and we kind of capture them that way. So it's just a lot of moving parts. But, the main thing is be in the office, work your business every day. Don't, so many agents that are working from home a lot. And, our view is if you work from home, you're just being reactive, not proactive. If you dress up and show up and put on your work hat every day, you're going to go after the business. And that's what it takes to be successful.
I've got a question around that specific thing because that's actually the second time I've heard that in just about a month with everyone talking about, COVID took us back home. I love being able to work from home. Y'all are the second very large team. I mean, doing 50 million saying, no, you've got to be in the office. You've got to be and I've never heard it worded like that, being proactive, not reactive. We've had several people jump on since we first started. Alan, Tina, tell us who you are, where you do business, and how we can reach you.
We are at the Highlands Cashers Plateau. It's Highlands Cashers, North Carolina, near Asheville. We're in the mountains, primarily a second home market. And Carolina Cone Team at kw.com is the best way to reach us. And like I said, 64% of our business comes from our past customers and referrals, and a good part of our business comes from referrals from our KW family and other places.
Trying to copy this link in there. Boom.
Okay, good. I was gonna write our address in there too, but. Well, that'll be on there. Just go to our website.
So, I talk with I talk with a lot of agents about, and I want to go back into the being in the office, working the business, about the freedom that they want real estate to bring them. This is what you're saying, at least around the work part of it, at least around the being in the office, is the opposite of what a lot of people get into the business for. What though? What's the freedom that this work ethic, this mindset has brought you in your lives?
Well, the way we built our team, we've been very, intentional about doing it and building it. So we are free to travel a little bit more because we're kind of sunsetting here, and we're putting people in places that will allow us that freedom. But when we're here, we're in the office guiding the team, thinking of new ideas, and kind of basically trying to hold them accountable.
What are those team meetings, those weekly team meetings? What do they look like?
We have a team meeting once a week. Everybody comes, and just basically we go through all of the transactions that are under contract, what's going on with them, the listings, what's going on with those as far as what stage they're in, as well as upcoming listings. What are we doing? And a lot of times the buyer agent might have somebody they're working with. Oh, great, that's going to be good for these people. And so it's just trying to keep the lines of communication open. And one of and like I said, a lot of times your advertising and your lead generation will get the customer, but your service is what's going to keep them and keep them coming back. And that's where our listing concierge and our transaction concierge, we call our closing concierge, they just go overboard with communication with the customers. And that's so important. And I don't know how many times I've got a Keller Williams agent I'm working with right now selling her house, and she said, boy, your team is doing a fantastic job. They are just so good about communicating everything. And it makes us feel good when we hear that, and it really will keep them coming back. I think we're on our probably ninth transaction with that Keller Williams agent.
Wow. Wow. What of the things that you do in the client experience, what are a couple things that you're most proud of or you feel like sets you apart from the rest?
Probably the way we have someone that, and this is part of the thing that we do when we go on a listing presentation, is look, we're different than everybody else. We have in our farm area, we have an assistant that lives in that farm area. So when there's a showing of one of our listings, she always goes by, she lights up the house, makes sure everything, if it's winter, she'll turn the heat up, make sure the house can show as well as possible. And then more importantly, after the showing's done, she goes by, turns off all the lights, makes sure all of the doors are secure, turns the heat back down, whatever it takes. Because the one thing that we hear over and over and over again is customers say, well, when I had my house listed with XYZ, I'd come up from Atlanta, the lights were left on, the doors were unlocked, and it just really puts a bad taste in their mouth. So we go to the extra expense. We've taken basically all of the money from our print advertising. We do almost no print advertising now. We've shifted that money to professional photography. We have a great photographer. He does drone photos. He does a Matterport with floor plans. You know, you got to shift the money, because the days of somebody coming to town and stumbling into a real estate office and saying, you know, I want to look at 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes with a view and at this price point, you know, they're browsing homes in their pajamas in Boca Raton for months before they come up here. And having that listing presented as a professionally, have as many photos as you can, as many descriptions, and we do attachments as far as an exclusions list and everything we can to make sure that when that customer comes to town, if they're not working with us, that one of our listings or 2 of our listings, whatever, will be on their list of homes that they want to see when they come to town.
Yeah, and I think it's just important. I learned early on about listings, staying in communication with them. So we do weekly showing reports that Alex provides for them, just to give them feedback on any showings. And also, we came up with something called the data vault. And so as soon as we list something, first, Alex sends out a data vault email saying that all your important documents are going to be in here. And so she sends that out to them, and it's got their listing agreement and anything else, if it's an exclusion list, anything to do with the listing. And then when it goes under contract, Allison then picks up and does a data vault for the contract, and to keep them in the loop about the contract, you know, what's happening with that.
Yeah, it's the same data vault. So
Yeah.
all of their documents, all the way from the listing agreement through home inspections, all the way up to the closing statement, all of that is in one place in their own private data vault.
So is that like a website, a special service, like a third party?
Yeah, it's a Dropbox.
It's
It's
Dropbox,
a
yeah.
private Dropbox we set up for each client. Yeah. And you know, the marketing tends to, you know, our listing presentation promotes this. You know, that's when we go, you know, we want, if you're competing with 3 other firms, you want them to know exactly what sets you apart from everybody else.
Communication is the biggest key, I think.
Yep.
Staying in touch, and I will be the first one to say I hate the 10,000-pound phone. So I wasn't very good at the beginning with staying in contact, you know, over the phone with them. So I had to come up with ways to stay in contact. So I started doing showing reports early on in myself before, you know, we had an assistant. But I think that's the biggest thing. And same thing with the whole transaction, you know, the closing. You need to stay in touch, and they need to be aware of what's happening, what's going on, what they can expect next, because that's really one of the biggest questions they have, is just what's going to happen. So Allison is really good about conveying all that information to them.
Mm-hmm.
So along that same line, then these are the things that you feel like separates you, or the things that you're most proud of. What are the things that you're working on right now? What do you feel are the opportunities in your business?
My personal opinion is, when we switched over to Brivity, because unfortunately we were top producer agents for a long time, and right during COVID, it decided to quit. So we had to switch over to Brivity. So one of the biggest things that I'm working on right now is trying to get the systems back in place. And really, it's step by step. Every single thing that happens needs to be on that to-do list, and it needs to pop up so that Allison or Alex knows what it is they're supposed to be doing. And like I tell them, I said, you probably know it already, but if something were to happen to you, I need a system in place that I can just look at and follow and do, you know, so that nothing gets dropped. What are you working on?
I would say one of our challenges right now is instilling the work ethic in our buyer's agent and listing agent, to be in the office every day working on their business. That's a been a big challenge for us, to be honest with you.
Yes.
What that I don't think you're alone, I'll tell you that. I is it is it accountability that you're working on then? Is it developing them into their, like, changing the way that they think? Um,
Yeah, it's just trying to get across the what we talked about earlier. If you're working from home, you're going to do what you want to do, and then you're going to be reactive. When the phone rings, you're going to put out fires, you're going to answer questions, you're going to do this. But if you're at the office and you are not being reactive, then you're either going to do nothing or you're going to be proactive. And what do I need to do? Where's the next business coming from? And do that. Send out, you know, a lot of times I'll be on the hot sheet and, you know, I'll see something come up. I'm like, wow, this would be great for so and so and so and so. So I send out an email blast, and a lot of times, you know, when I was a buyer's agent, I'd see something, even if it wasn't our listing, if it was a really good value, I might go look at it. I'm like, wow, this is going to go fast. So I'd send out a best buy alert to all of our database. Look, this isn't going to last long. If you've been looking for something, you're not going to find a better value than this. And, you know, they might not buy that house, but it's another touch, and it's another one. Well, you know, we're so good about staying in touch. They're the ones I want to work with.
Yeah.
What was it your client called that? The
Yeah,
desperation?
yeah, we had one seller that was gonna reduce their price, say, look, I don't wanna be on Alan's desperation alert, but
It's
Like,
not the hot sheet, it was the desperation alert.
yeah.
Tell me about some of the biggest wins you've had since y'all have been doing this, since y'all have made all these changes. I mean, it's crazy to me that the last time that I was in that market center, it was you, Sarah, and Al. It was y'all two, Sarah and Allison. Now you've built this. I mean, I didn't even know. I went to your website and saw the team, and it was like, holy cow, there's 5 faces I don't recognize. What have been the biggest wins that y'all have had since then?
You know, one of the things that I can't stress strongly enough is, you never know who you're dealing with when you're dealing with a customer, and you never know, that customer, yeah, they're going to buy something, but the potential for them to refer you to friends, to family, and do repeat business, especially, you know, I'll never not ask them, hey, you know, if you do you have some money in your 401k that you want to invest in real estate? You could do a self-directed IRA, and you could buy this for an investment. You know, I've got several investor clients that have done just tens of millions of dollars over the course of the years, just by me staying in touch and putting opportunities in front of them. And if it's not right for them, they say, well, I don't know. I said, well, you know, this is my job to put this in front of you. Whether it's right for you, that's your decision. But I mean, you know, I sold a whole shopping center one time doing that, you know, just like, hey, I saw this come on the market. It looks like a great investment opportunity. It's coming out to about an 8 cap. And what do you think? He said, well, let's go look at it. You know, he ended up buying it. So.
Well, you don't know either when somebody calls. I mean, you want to give it 100%, no matter what the price point is. Because look at me. I mean, he called on what? How much was that?
Yeah, I sold his
Lowest.
first house I sold him was about $500,000, and he's probably bought 50 or $60 million worth of real estate from us since then.
Because, you know, because of the way Alan treated him to begin with, he didn't know who he was or what kind of business he was in.
Yeah.
But once, I mean, COVID was good to him.
Yeah.
So he's been good to us.
I love
So,
I love that. Y'all went out of your way. And I think that's just customers in any business too. I think that translates into anything that we're doing. And I remember a specific story. I actually tell this story a lot. I remember the last year I was there, I believe, y'all hit MREA, which at that point y'all had been building up to it. You had hit it a couple times. And I remember looking at a deal because at that point, of course, I was the MCA. I remember looking at a deal that I think you made $125 off of. I think the check was $125, which of course in your market is. I mean, but I remember it was that one that I mean, first off, it helped you get over that MREA status. And I remember Alan telling me specifically, Jackson, who knows what this person could be doing with us? You know, this was a little piece of land, but that person could be giving us business years into the future. So I've told that story many a time. I hope y'all know things that you taught me I've now taught to other people.
Oh,
That's good.
yeah.
That's good.
You gotta give everything 100%, whether it's a $125,000 commission or $125 commission. You know, you gotta treat them all the same.
Yeah. So those were business wise. What kind of changes have you had to make personally to get the success that you've had so far?
A lot of hard work.
Yeah,
you know?
it's answering the phone, even though, I mean, there really is no day off as a realtor. So, you just pick up the phone when they call, make sure you're present. You can, not saying that you have to take phone calls after a certain time at night, because we'll cut off that, like by 7 o'clock, we're just not answering phone calls, and they don't really expect you to. They just, while they're thinking about it, they want to call you. Like, they don't mind calling Saturday, Sunday, whatever. So I think that's one of the biggest things, is just knowing that you're gonna have to pick up the phone, but that also allows you a lot of freedom. Because we can pick up the phone on a beach in Mexico and they don't know. So just,
Yeah, the mariachi music in the background.
Yeah.
Gives away
But I would say that, and unfortunately, you bring, especially when you're a husband and wife team, you bring that home. So work never leaves, it's always there. But that's allowed us also to have the joy of purchasing a motorhome that we're gonna be traveling around in. So work hard, play hard.
Yeah, and I can't stress strongly enough that if you provide service that exceeds the customer's expectation, I mean, literally just blows them away, they're gonna fall all over themselves to send you business. I mean, they will, even if somebody has another realtor, they'll say, well, that's fine. If that doesn't work out, call me, because I've got somebody you need to use.
I love that. I love that. Bringing on the coach. So 2014, you brought on a coach. Were there any struggles with giving things up? Were there struggles with, yeah, I kind of like what Tina said with saying, all right, I guess I'm going to let someone else tell me what to do.
Yeah, like she said, the first coach that we got, was not the perfect fit. And he realized it actually about the same time we did. And he said, look, guys, I just don't think we're achieving the high success that we should, and we're not gelling like we should. And so I'm looking around for someone else, and I think I've got somebody I'd like you to talk to. And then, so he hooked us up with Liz, and we've been with her ever since. And we have put our listing specialist, she's actually in coaching too. And
So
we put,
y'all are now allowing your team to get into coaching and seeing where it can help take them as well.
yeah,
Right, and it's accountability, that's what it is. We're not really good at holding people accountable. We're working on that. It's always something that we're working on, but having a coach helps us kind of do that, because she constantly is drilling us, what's going on? What have you done? What have you implemented to improve this? So it's just having someone there, in your corner and helping you realize what you got to do. And I will say the KW talent, if you're not part of it, or at least jump on some of the free stuff they have, it's really helpful. And it really, and we're going through it because it helps you train to hire the right person and the right people for your team. I think that's crucial. And we went through like 7 assistants in a matter of 10 years. So we were not good at that. And I did not study the KPA and all that, and we don't do the process correctly, but we're learning. Never quit learning.
I think
yeah,
everybody has that struggle of going through the KPA process. It's long. It's long. It's very tempting to skip through some of it.
Oh, yes. And I'll tell you, it bites you in the, you know what, if you don't. So.
Well, I want to, again, I just want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to send things out. Tell us real quick last time. Well, right. Well, this will be the first to last time, I guess. Who are you? Where do you do business? How can we get in contact with you?
all right, we're Alan and Tina Cohn, the Carolina Cohn team. We're in the Highlands, Cashers, North Carolina. CarolinaCohnTeam.com is our website. You can reach us through that. we do have a fair amount of our business does come from referrals from other Keller Williams agents. So if you got someone looking in the mountains, rest assured they'll be well taken care of.
Yeah, and it's sweet getting a 25% referral on some of these $1 million homes. So
Yeah, I guess that's what we should be specific about. Is it's a higher price point area.
exactly.
Yeah, it's almost gotten out of hand. You know, our and this is not our average sale price, but the average sale price in our market now is right at 2 million. So it's really, really, you know, there's still homes in the 500,000 and up. But we've also got a lot of them that are going, you know, we sold one last year for 5 million. There's just a lot of them that are very, very expensive homes. The quality of construction here is so far above what you see in other areas, you know, the masonry fireplaces and the stonework and you know, the foundation. There's plenty of houses here. The foundations cost $500,000, you know, because of the topography. And so it's not, if you've got somebody looking and wants to spend a couple $100,000 on the second home, it's probably not a good fit, you know.
Unless they want a condo, an old condo like 1970s. But we'll get them in. We'll find them something.
Well, I mean, I think if some of the agents on here saw the area, they might be buying their own houses down there because it is such a beautiful spot. Such a beautiful spot. Well,
Yeah.
so tell me, I know you said, 3-4 years down, it's probably moving out, but what's next for you? What does next year look like? What does the next 2 years look like?
Probably very similar to this. You know, we've got the team in place, so we're freed up to travel a little bit. We've got some nice trips planned in the RV, and but you know, we'll still be working, you know, no matter where we are. But it does free us up a little bit to not have to be in the office, you know, every day of the year, basically. So we'll be doing a little bit of that, continuing to grow the team, and you know, just try to gain market share.
When you look at what the next few years are going to look like, and just what your lives look like now in terms of like the counterbalance between the fun things you get to do. I know when I called Tina, y'all were doing a road trip like all the way down from Florida all the way back up, was it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Hilton Head.
Yeah, we really like Hilton Head, so we spent some time there, and you know, we've got a 2 month trip out west planned later this year. So, but we're, you know, like I said, we're working all the time, so don't
Yeah.
hesitate to call or email.
Um, I like that plug. Make sure that everyone knows you're not too busy for a referral.
No, never too busy for a referral. And like I said, we've got, you know, on the buy side, Nicole is just phenomenal. She's been doing this forever. She's really good about being aggressive with the customers if they're doing something stupid. You know, we've got a lot of people that, you know, the buying a home is so emotional for so many people. And, you know, she's really good at saying, look, take your emotions out of this, treat this like a business decision. What makes the most sense? Does it make sense to walk away from this one for a fraction of the purchase price? Are you just being emotional because you want to win on this? So she's really, I mean, it's Tina and I look at ourselves sometime and like, wow, that was aggressive, but you know, she gets it done. She's very good at what she does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's been doing it since she's 18. So she's not that old.
Yeah. Wow.
She's older than us, but she's not.
30 years in the business since she was 18. Wow.
I
Well, like I said, you've worked hard to get to where you are now. Is there anything, if you're as you're looking back, that you wish you could have done differently or done sooner or
Yes, I would say yes, the team should have grown sooner. And I think we should have been more intentional about learning. Well, they didn't have the KPA back in the day, but about really delving in and doing those calls to their, to vet the person before we hire them. Because I'm afraid we went through and we get, attached to people. We like people, so they become part of our family. So nothing's worse than having somebody on your team for years that have kept just because you like them.
Yeah, and I agree with that for sure. The recruit, train, select, make sure that you get the right people in place and pay them well. You know, we
Yeah.
pay our people very well. And, so also, like Tina said, don't be afraid to go ahead and make that next hire. You know, we should have done it long before we did. I enjoyed working with the buyers back then, and I'm like, well, why am I gonna give part of that paycheck away? You know, it's ours, you know, we'll just do it. So, we could have probably grown faster and better than what we did if we had just been a little bit quick to hire, and that's all on me.
Yeah, 2014 was the year we were going to hire, but then something happened. Oh, we proposed to our person that we were looking at hiring what we wanted to do as a split, and she decided to go to another company instead. So that didn't work out so good, but it's okay. You keep going then.
Yeah, and that's one of the things when, especially on a buyer's agent side, you know, our buyer's agent is on a 50-50 split. So, you know, they could go to another boutique firm and be on a split that good or better. Now, after the split with us, then they also have to pay Keller Williams, their half cap, which is not much. But, you know, it's all the mindset about, look, you know, if you go to that other boutique firm and you're on a 60-40 split, you're going to get round robin all these leads, and some of them are going to be junk. With us, you get every single buyer lead that comes in, every single one, it's yours. And so our buyer's agent and our listing agent, their expenses are next to nothing because those are our expenses.
And they cap, and that's the one thing that people don't understand. You know, with Keller Williams, you cap, you only paying so much money. And there hasn't been maybe a handful of years when I first started probably that I wouldn't have capped from the beginning. So, you know, who doesn't love that 100% paycheck?
Yeah, whenever your cap starts over, you're like, oh man.
But it doesn't last.
Until you sell the $5 million home, and then you cap
Exactly.
on the
It
one.
doesn't last long. Yeah.
Yeah, I think last year we capped in, what was it? I think it was 3 days, because we had something lined up, and they got pushed from March to April. April's our anniversary date, so we went from getting 100% to, oh, shoot, man, this shouldn't have got delayed, but you know, it worked out fine. We just paid our cap off immediately, so.
Yeah. Well, you've worked extremely hard to get to where you're at. Would you do it all again? Getting to where you're at now, was it
You
worth it?
know, there's no way to make this kind of money without having you know, if you're a doctor or attorney, or you built another, that's one thing, you know, the biggest aha for me, I think, was our most successful clients are not doctors or lawyers or anybody. They're small business owners. They're the people that have risked everything they had to build an air conditioning and heating business in Florida, or you know, any kind of business somewhere else, you know, and they have, and they're being rewarded for it. And those kind of people, they demand a high level of service, and you take care of them, and they will take care of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I did want to, I'll give you all back a little bit of your time. I did want to open it up though. I know we've got several people on. Did anyone, before I let Alan and Tina go, did anyone have any questions they wanted to ask?
You
We
said
sell
that
all.
you have a farm that you do. How many homes are in the farm that you have been farming? And other than direct mail, what is what are the touches to that farm?
The touches to the farm are pretty much strictly just the direct mail campaign. We don't do any door knocking or anything else. We are very involved with that homeowners association. I think when we mail to around 1,000.
I think.
Yeah, I think it's around 1,000 homes.
Because we opened it up to several other neighborhoods that we decided were very similar. So those would be the ones that were in competition. So we're up to like 1,000. I think the original farm was like 650.
Yeah, and that's a great question, because to do this right and to send out that neighborhood report card every month, you have to pick a farm area that's big enough that you have enough transactions to do that. One of the big mistakes that we made in the past was farming neighborhoods that didn't have enough turnover.
Right.
So you really couldn't do a neighborhood report card every month. You could do just listed and just sold, and by and large, the piecemealing like that we found really doesn't generate the business we want. It's the getting hit over and over and over and over again. And we've actually had customers that say, you know, one of the things we like to do is when we get your postcard, we'll drive around the neighborhood and look at the houses that sold and what it sold for. And that's kind of a good feeling, you know. You're providing a service that's, you're not just advertising, you're providing a service they appreciate.
But I think you should understand your farm area too, and it's who makes up that farm area. For us, it's older people mainly. And so we send out a calendar as well, so that it's in front of their face, you know, every day.
On the side of the refrigerator.
And they love it. They'll send us requests to get a new one, you know, and they'll update their address if they've moved or whatever before the end of the year. But so setting something that's gonna be important to your clientele in that particular farm would be a good thing, something that's gonna stand out. You know, whether it's a bottle opener or whatever, we've done that too, in the past.
And with those folks, when you're doing your direct mail, do you do every door direct, or what is your postcard?
We do quantum mail. We update our mailing list. You know, you can do downloads through the county or through with CRS, but we update that list every other month. And we use quantum mail. That, you know, they're pretty easy. The girls, the admins seem to really like it, and it's easy to do. And just the consistency is what it's all about. And that's just been that if we had to give up all of our lead generation tools except for one, our direct mail is what we would not give up.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, last time. Who are you? How can we get in contact with you?
The Carolina Cone Team, Alan and Tina Cone, Cashmere, North Carolina, CarolinaConeTeam.com.
All right. Thank you all so much for hopping on. It was so beautiful to see you. I'll make sure that I send you all the recording of this, and then I have a feeling that we'll be doing a lot of referrals back and forth.
All right. Thank
Great.
you. Good to see you, Jackson.
Thank y'all. See ya.
Have a good day.
Take care.